Go ahead. Make my day.
Long live the king. You killed him.
No. I am your father.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hello everyone, I'm Obsley2003 and I'm here with Augie the Froggy.
Hey,
Yes. And we both just saw the movie Knock at the Cabin that just came out this past Friday.
yeah, I think so. You saw it today, and I saw it the day before today.
Yes. But we both just saw it, just came out, and we're gonna do a little movie corner discussion about Knock at the Cabin.
Well, it was directed by this guy. Have you ever heard of this guy? M. Night Shyamalan? Shamwow? Shamaloni? Shamalama Ding Dong?
Shamwa.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever made fun of his name.
Just you.
Yeah. So what are your things with M. Night? Like, what's your relationship with him and his movies?
Oh, it's got a lot of inspiration for me.
Say what?
He got a lot of inspiration from me.
Shit. Well, like I'm just saying, because I'm assuming anybody who's seen is watching this movie. I would say the majority of the audience. I don't know. Would you say that's an accurate statement? The majority of the audience probably knows who the director is.
Yes. They didn't hype that. I don't think they did in the trailers, like oh, from Signs and whatever previous movies he just did, but it just kind of went with the full force with the movie alone as the standalone.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it didn't seem like it's gotten a lot of like big time attention like his movies usually do, I guess. But I don't know. Like him and Kevin Smith, I got this weird relationship with. Like, well, because they both have made some pretty good movies, and then they both have made some pretty bad ones, like really bad.
Mm.
And I just remember growing up, like getting into indie movies, and like, man, these guys were there, and I like I can't lie, I'm always excited when I see like he always fools me, like or not always because sometimes he pulls out a decent movie, but like I'm always excited to see a Shyamalan movie. Like I'm always hopeful when I go into seeing a Shyamalan movie. I can't say that with Kevin Smith, but I mean, I root for both of those guys whenever they make a movie. I might shit on their movies, but I'm always rooting for them. I don't know.
You have a special place in your heart.
Well, Kevin Smith most definitely. Shyamalan not so much. I mean, I can't lie. Like he does. Like when he makes a movie, I still couldn't remember like the way I felt like when Sixth Sense came out, seeing that in the theaters. And shit, I think that came out the same year as Phantom Menace, and Matrix. I want to say roughly around the same time. But anyway, it was just like man, seeing that in the theaters was crazy. And then like Unbreakable was like man, he did it again, and then you just expected him to do it every time. But anyway, this is M Night Shyamalan's new movie, and it stars Dave Bautista, who's fresh off his Royal Rumble 2023 victory. Spoiler alert for whoever didn't see the Royal Rumble. Dave Bautista came out number 31, which was odd, and won the Royal Rumble.
Since Rey Mysterio never came out.
Yeah, but he actually won the Women's Royal Rumble, which was weird, even more weird. But and then M Night Shyamalan came out and said, "Cut, end scene." And the credits rolled. But yeah, Dave Bautista, starring Dave Bautista. I guess he's been in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies or something, right?
Yes. Yes,
And I
he
just see
has.
him on Netflix all over the place in that Glass Onion movie. So I don't know. I know he's branching out now.
Yeah, he's done a few different movies here and there.
I guess Vince McMahon lets him wrestle and do movies at the same time.
I don't know. I don't remember the last time he's been in the
Yeah,
ring.
yeah. I'm just plain stupid. Yeah, I don't think he's on good terms with Vince McMahon and them. But anyways, fucking taking too long. But it's Dave Bautista, Rupert Grint, who my wife tells me is from Harry Potter, and I guess he's famous for being in Harry Potter. And I also know him from The Servant, the TV show on Apple TV. And there's his Shyamalan connection because M. Night Shyamalan directed a few episodes, and I think M. Night Shyamalan's daughter directed a few episodes too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so he comes out on that show.
he was in the Cabinets of Curiosity as well.
Yes, he was. He was in the H. Lovecraft one, the Dreams in the Witch House. Yeah, that's the most recent thing I've seen him in besides this. And also in the one of the main characters in this movie, who was one of the dads in the movie, is Jonathan Groff, who's who's the main guy in Mindhunters. I think his name is Holden in Mindhunters, which is a pretty badass show from David Fincher. And I think I looked up that he does the voice of Kristoff in Frozen. And I'm not gonna go through every actor, but the other dad in the movie is played by Ben Aldridge, and he's just known for, or primarily known for being in that show Fleabag, which I know has gotten a lot of praise. I think it's an Amazon show. I don't know if you've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard the name Fleabag. Like,
I've heard of it. Yes. Yeah. But
and so, do you want to do the synopsis on this, or do you want me to read the IMDb synopsis?
uh, go and do the IMDb one. We'll give them the credit.
It says, while vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family make a choice to avert the apocalypse. So, yeah.
That's pretty straightforward.
And I want to say this might be the first or one of the few movies Shyamalan directed that he didn't write. That's not like an original story that he created.
I don't know. Sounds like it, because I know that, yeah, this is based off a actual book.
Yeah, I know. Unless I know he didn't write the Last Airbender. He didn't create that, but he did some masterful things with that. I hear.
Yeah, this one was better movies. So yes, that was the IMDb overview. I guess was it
Yeah, well, yeah, just I
synopsis?
guess little synopsis. Didn't really overview the whole movie or nothing. Just
Yeah,
yeah,
but I would say the movie kind of pretty much started right off the bat in regards to I guess it starts off with what, the little girl collecting grasshoppers.
yeah. She's collecting grasshoppers, and then just like the trailer shows, that Dave Batista comes out and introduces himself. Like, I'll give that movie credit for that. Like, it didn't waste time. Like, it started off like it went wham. It went right in it. It went right into it pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, so that was pretty good. It wasn't a lot of like filler at the beginning. It just kind of went right into it.
Yes.
And I'll say right off the bat, Dave Batista fucking killed it. I don't know. I don't know. Like, he did an awesome job, and I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
like
I'm not
a
poo-pooing
big
it.
fan, but like his character, like he did a good job. Like he was perfectly cast as that character.
Yes, and there's a good, I guess, depth to him as an actor, because yeah, obviously he's done some goofy roles on Guardians of the Galaxy, some movie Stuber, but then he was in Blade Runner 2077, the sequel.
2049.
There you go. Um, he was in that, and yeah, in this one he was, even just the way he carried himself, and the white button-up shirt, and it's like just the size, and I guess it was like that casting too, just like obviously he was a professional wrestler, and he has a pretty um muscular physique, but then around I guess regular people that aren't as athletic or as bodybuilders or whatever, it's like he really was. He looked very menacing, or he towered over everyone.
It's weird. Like I'm not. I don't want to talk about his physique too much. Like he looks bigger wearing a shirt than he does. Like he looks more. Like what the hell? Like he's all built, and then wearing a shirt makes him even look even more built. It's like what the hell? I have that. I struggle with that problem too. So it was good to see it portrayed on the screen.
So we gotta rename this to the Batista review.
Timestamp it. Okay, for the next.
And some other stuff happened,
No.
but it's like
Yeah.
it's all about
End of the review. Mm. No, but yeah, like he does start off with talking to the little girl, who I guess is about, I don't know, what you say, 6, 7? I don't know.
yeah,
But either way, yeah, and then he kind of introduces himself, and she's, oh, I don't talk to strangers, and he's like real polite, and hopefully I get to know you, and my heart is broken. They play some game about asking each other questions, so he wouldn't be such a stranger to her. And literally, I guess within the first couple of minutes, and then she asks him, well, why is your heart broken? Well, I guess we should say spoilers alert, right?
yeah,
From here on out, but not like anyway. He says because of what I have to do, and then he kind of what tells the little girl to go inside and tell her dads that he's gonna have to let them in, and she starts getting scared because she can tell that he's gonna do something bad or something. I don't know, but she just runs inside.
yeah. Because all the while he kept looking around in the forest, and then that's when he saw, I guess, the few other people come into the camera, and they all have some sort of tools slash weapons, and that's when the little girl starts to freak out
Okay, yeah,
because she
and then
was sorry, she was okay with Batista by himself, but then once she saw these other people coming, these other strangers, that's when her, I guess, panic alarm went off and she ran inside.
yeah, and I guess it's a big thing of it, but she's an adopted Asian girl. I don't know from where I went to get popcorn when they were showing that scene. So I don't know what exactly where they adopted her from, but she's adopted by it's a gay couple. I think Eric is the name of one of the dads and Andrew is the name of the other one. Eric is the guy from Mindhunters and Andrew's the other guy.
Okay.
So yeah, because that's relevant. It's not like because it's kind of brought up. It's one of the themes in the movie.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess it seems like they're on some type of it was a weekend trip, vacation trip, but they're at a, I guess, a rental cabin, and the two dads were just kind of kicking it in the backyard, and the little girl just kind of met up with them to alert them that there's strangers here and that they need to uh, lock the doors and don't let them in.
And yeah, at first they're startled or they're kind of confused, and then they hear the knock seconds later after the girl explains that they're coming or whatever, and then they try to politely get rid of them, and Batista's just as polite back, but then they tell him we have to do this, like you guys were chosen, or we have to come in, and this is just gonna make things a lot easier if we can just see you and talk to you. And then it's two guys. It's Batista, the Harry Potter redhead guy, and a black lady, and I guess some young other lady. I don't know. I forgot to look what she's into or what she's been in. But there's two guys and two ladies that are part of this group of four that are trying to get into the house with the ones that have the weapons.
Yes.
And it's like a little, like they run around, they try to get in, they try to prevent them from getting in. And eventually one of the ladies gets in and the Harry Potter guy gets in and then they all get in. So it's like it couldn't be avoided. There's a little tussle. And I think the Harry Potter guy gets beat up a little bit by Andrew, the more aggressive father of the gay couple. The Andrew, I guess, is the more aggressive one, or more, I guess,
Yeah.
I don't know what you say. Like,
I'd say dominant, but
yeah, I guess dominant would be a better word. And so he kind of punches on that Harry Potter guy, Redmond is his name, and I guess he's a redhead. His name is Redmond. He's a Redmond.
yes. And before that, yes, Eric, he got in a tussle with the lady, and she somehow hit him, and he fell he fell down.
Sabrina.
Sabrina, okay. And in their tussle, she managed to knock him down, and he fell basically flat on his ass, but the back of his head hit the floor, which pretty much put him down for the count, and that foiled their escape because Eric decided to stay behind. He was gonna slow the group down so Andrew and the little girl can run away and get to the car, but as soon as Eric fell, that put their escape to an end. And
Yeah, and then
go ahead.
no, I'm gonna say from what I remember, it doesn't really show much. It just shows them tied up like a few seconds later, right after like the tussle. They're both the two dads, Eric and Andrew, are tied up.
Pretty much, because Sabrina, pretty much when they're done with their skirmish, Sabrina is like, "Oh, well, let me help him," referring to Eric, because she's after she was just fighting with him. It's like I'm a registered nurse. I can tend to him, and which kind of puts not awkward, but like there's like a home invasion, or they're breaking into the house with force, and then it's like a quick turnaround to like let me fix them, because at that point, yeah, I think the two dads are getting tied up. They never tied up the little girl.
Yeah, and that's when Batista or Leonard, I should say Leonard's his name, and that's when he kind of just gives them the rundown of what the trailer would do. Is this, hey, we were tasked, or what? I don't know what the hell is he telling him? He says that you have to make a choice, or we were well, maybe the most important choice of all the world, or something, or the most important choice.
Yes,
And he tells them that if they don't decide, well, I don't even remember how it comes out, is that they have to decide which one of the three of them has to die. One of the daughter, the adopted daughter, or one of the dads has to die in order for the world to be saved.
yes, because apparently the world will come to some type of end, and if they have to. One has to kill the other. It can't be like a suicide or anything like that. One of the family members has to kill the other, and they have to, I guess, agree to it. And if they don't, then pretty much, yeah, the fates of the world is not so good.
And this was based on visions, I guess, concurrent visions that these four people were having, like at different times, but in different places. They were all having these visions about the end of the world, and they all met up with each other. And I guess they saw a cloaked person that was giving them these visions, right, or something. I don't remember, something like along those lines.
I'm not sure about the cloak person, but yes, they all had the same shared division, and they all kind of give their background of just who they are, and they're all have different backgrounds from different parts of the country. Was Leonard? He was the first to kind of speak, and he was saying that he's like a school teacher by day and like a bartender by night, and
The Sabrina was a nurse,
yes, and she was a nurse that like a surgeon nurse or something like that.
and
And
Adrian was the other girl. She was a waitress or a cook or something.
a line cook.
And Redmond, what did he do?
He worked for a gas company somewhere in the
Oh yeah,
area.
that's okay. Yeah, I check. Okay, that's right. But either way, in that moment too, like it's kind of weird. It was, I don't know, maybe I'm weird or maybe I'm not, but like that, I guess that Redmond was kind of like he would. It's just weird. Like Batista gives his spiel, like who he is and stuff, and then that nurse lady does, and then the Sabrina does. I mean, Sabrina gives hers, and then Adrian, the line cook, starts giving hers, and then that Redmond is like, "Why are we doing this?" And even like as an audience member at the moment, I was like, yeah, like why do we care? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, it was weird. And he kind of at the same time I was thinking that kind of said that like it doesn't really matter what we are, what we do, or whatever. But I guess I guess it was to the point. I guess of these are just regular people. They're not like homeless uh conspiracy theory nut guys or religious people, zealots or whatever. And they're like regular people that are doing this thing. I guess.
Yeah, I guess a shared purpose. And I guess it seemed like there was kind of on a very tight timeline or tight schedule, because yeah, part of that was Redmond was going that we're wasting time, that they wasted a lot of time for Eric to wake up from when he got knocked out, which Sabrina mentioned that he has a pretty bad concussion. And I guess they waited for him to wake up on his own. They didn't force him to wake up, so I guess a lot of time passed, and Redmond's just like, we're kind of on a schedule here with the important matters, and he's the
And
one.
just for,
Sorry, so Redmond seemed like he was very hot tempered. He said he had been previously arrested for when he was young and dumb, but now he's trying to be, I guess, kind of a better person.
yeah, he kind of plays like a similar character in The Servant. He's kind of like an a-hole, but not really like I guess like bad, but kind of like asshole-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the premise of this movie? Like, are you like, did it seem okay to you, or did it seem like something like you would have come up in like middle school or some type of like weird, like, I don't know, if the house is burning down, who would you save, your dog or your mom or your or one of those, like, I don't know, it just seems like real, like for a movie, you know what I mean? It seems kind of, I don't know, like something a middle school kid would have come up with,
Hmm.
like one of those. Would you rather eat Hector's boogers or Gilbert's earwax? Would you rather save the world or kill somebody like your closest family member or something like that? And they decided to make a movie about it.
Yeah, but it's definitely an interesting premise. I personally have not read the book yet. I heard the book was a bit of a hard read, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like nothing against it. I mean, it is kind of interesting, but it is kind of like it like the movie. Like I give it to the like give it that too. It didn't seem like it dragged. The movie didn't seem like it dragged at all.
Mm-mm.
So it has that going for it. And I guess some of the things I had issues with was I guess the syntax of it or the technicalities of all this weird stuff.
Mhm.
Like I guess the rules that they had to go by because yeah, like if you're that couple, that gay couple, or you're that couple that they come upon, you're gonna not believe it, and it makes sense to not believe these poor crazy people or whatever. And they felt like they were targeted too. Andrew was the more, I guess, dominant one, like you said, and his main thing was that they were targeting them because they were gay, and so like they felt like okay, these people were targeting him, and he kind of has like some type of, they show later on like he has some kind of reason for being that kind of hardcore on it because he was attacked in the bar by somebody he felt was being homophobic. But I don't know. I'm just kind of like, they ask him. So there's four of them, and then they ask him if you have to choose. And I don't even remember. Like, it's just kind of weird thinking about it now. So they didn't choose. I don't even know what was the timeline. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of confused by this. What was the timeline of it? Like, when they had to make their choice and when consequences would start happening.
I think that very first day, I'm not sure time-wise, but that very first day, they told them they had to make a choice, and that depending on I guess they're going to give it the option or the choice to make the choice four times, and if they say no per round, there's going to be a different type of consequence that the whole world would face, and they kind of broke it down. It would be like was it a great flood, some type of
The first one was the flood, and we can, I guess, stay there because yeah, that's like Redmond is the first one. I guess you're like you said, if they declined it four times, but I don't know when the time limit was where they had to do it. It just seemed weird because yeah, once they turned it down the first time, it turns out that Redmond was going to have to be killed, right?
yes, and they don't really give any explanation, and because they asked them straight up, is like, are any of you willing to make the sacrifice? Of which they all say no. They don't really ask the little girl. Obviously, she's a little girl, but the two parents say no. At which point, Redmond kind of stands in front of him with his homemade weapon. Looks like he's getting ready to hurt them, but then he gets on his knees and then he puts like this mask over his head, which and the other three are kind of circling him, which it's hinting that they're basically going to execute him. And
And they do, right?
oh
So it
yeah,
says,
they don't quite show it in like gory details, but yes, they pretty much kill him right then and there with their homemade weapons. That apparently they all had visions of how of their own weapons and at which how they made them. Nothing too crazy, but they were like a pitchfork with an axe on one end and like a I don't know, just basically homemade tools turned
yeah.
weapons.
And this is a, I guess, a weak ass rated R movie, mostly I guess for cursing, because yeah, a lot of the violence is not visible,
Yeah, not too
and
visible, not too excessive.
it's just like some of this stuff is just kind of weird because like what was the purpose of the weapons? Like they made these weird weapons and they kind of really didn't, I don't know, they didn't really seem like they were that relevant
Yeah, not really. Just aside from again that their
in
visions
aesthetic.
are what showed them to make these weapons, I guess, for the sacrifices.
Yeah, but I don't know, it didn't seem like it was that important. Like oh, like the little girl and signs leaving the water here and there, and what the hell, why are you leaving the water around everywhere?
Yeah, yeah.
It was just kind of and then that guy just, the Redmond just, like it just seemed like, I guess he's a like what would his thing be? Like, I don't know. I'm not thinking it all out. But why didn't he just go like, fuck this? I'm not gonna sacrifice myself if you're not gonna make the choice. The world's gonna end anyway. I guess the stipulation was the world would end except that couple would live. The two husbands would live, and the daughter, the adopted daughter, would live, and their consequence would be that they get to see they live in a world that's destroyed by their decision to not save it. But
Yes.
like, why did that Redmond guy or like okay, well, you decided not to? I guess he's just that devout to this vision, I guess, to where he let them kill him, even though if he didn't let them kill him, he was gonna die anyway. Supposedly, if this vision was correct.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of makes it more real in regards to the stakes at hand that they're this committed to the cause. It's like one way or another, blood's going to be shed or spilled.
So I don't know. Like that's the kind of stuff that's kind of I don't know. And then I don't even. And then what? Oh, okay, so then after that happens, they kind of cut out like a little bit time passes and the couple's talking to each other, right? And Eric and Andrew are talking, and Eric obviously has a head wound. Oh, right before the Redman killed himself or got killed, there was like they made sure to show light, like flash, right? Did you notice that?
Yes.
And I guess light is part of this thing. Like there was a big old like shiny light that shines behind him right before he does this.
Yeah, it was like on a reflection on a either a mirror or a picture or something that was hanging on the wall that was coming in. And they're making emphasis for Eric because he was concussed and he was very sensitive to light. His vision was kind of blurry right at that time, and he was the one who saw that shimmer or whatever in the reflection.
Yeah, and then anyway, that they're just talking, and where they flash back to a scene where it's the first. They do a couple of flashbacks. What's the first one that they do
Was it the
when they adopt the
parents?
daughter or the
Uh-huh.
parents?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I saw that one. I didn't see the adoption flashback. But yeah, so they flash back, I guess, trying to character develop the two couples, the couple, and it shows, I guess, when they're dating. Do you remember whose parents it was that visited them? I guess probably likely for the first time. I guess as them being a gay couple.
I'm pretty sure it was Andrew's parents.
So Andrews, one of the parents came to visit them as a couple, and it kind of like you get this feeling that it's their first time meeting, and it's like okay, maybe the first time them knowing that their son is gay. And Andrew makes the comment they drove 7 hours and stayed 45 minutes, whatever, and I guess they weren't too thrilled about it. Not that Eric was a bad guy or anything, but yeah, like I guess one of the themes is I guess acceptance and tolerance, and I guess that will kind of play into the ending, I guess. But they flash back to that scene, I guess, character development kind of scene, and because yeah, like you said, the movie just starts and we're thrown into this world, so they try to character develop with a couple of flashbacks, and then I don't remember after that. Like some of the stuff is kind of weird, and then what happens after that? They just talk, right? And the
Because yeah, they emphasize with the rules that everything's to be pretty much very swift in your decision to either the fate of the world or the fate, yeah, one way or the other. They say no, and at which point Leonard turns. Right now, the cartoon's kind of playing in the background for the little girl, and he changes the channel to some news channel, and that's when they're kind of showing the earthquake in somewhere in the ocean.
the tsunami, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, right after. So it's like yeah, it was like okay. So right after Redmond got killed, what they said would happen did happen. At least they showed it on the TV happening.
Yeah, and at first it seems like disbelief because one of the I guess there was a earthquake in the middle of the ocean that was kind of in the by close to Hawaii, nowhere. There was plenty of time to that everyone was able to safely evacuate from the immediate area of impact, and it seemed like oh well, it was a dud. It's just kind of coincidence, but no harm was caused. And that's when even more breaking news that there was a second earthquake in the middle of the ocean, or not in the middle. It was pretty much what just off the coast of the west coast.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I guess just shit was happening like they said it would happen.
Yeah, but Andrew still does not believe it's related. He thinks it's coincidence, but he's not buying into he's calling it like a doomsday cult, or it's just convenient, I guess, or coincidence, but not. He's not buying into what they're saying about the end of the world.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of somewhat feasible. I guess I don't know. I will let everybody die anyways, especially you. So as long as that guy dies, yeah, I'm good with it.
Mhm.
But anyway, then it just goes to Adrian, right? Am I skipping over a bunch of stuff, or like then she tries to say they ask him again, and then if they refuse it this second time, a plague is gonna hit children, is what the thing is, right?
Yes, but then after they show the floods, they basically Batista, who seems to be the leader of the four, says that that's enough for today. We'll let you get some rest, and we'll reconvene basically tomorrow. And they don't leave the cabin, but they that's all for today, I guess, basically.
Yeah, and like I said, like that's kind of the thing. Like, what the hell's the time frame for this? Like, why was it a rush for Redmond? And like, yeah, Batista just okay, we could wait another day. And not why not wait another 2 days? I'm not like I don't know. It just seems, but I guess suspension of disbelief, right?
It could, because the whole time argument comes up later in a conversation. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what day it is. Maybe on the news thing, it shows the time and all that. But yeah, it goes to the next day, and I believe it's yeah, it's focusing on Adrian, and because she said she was a line cook somewhere up north on the east side, and she's making
Eggs or some shit.
yeah, eggs, some type of breakfast for the little girl, and just kind of talking about how she loves to cook, kind of thing, and that's when they kind of have to get back together in regards to making their next decision. And man, was this in the span of 2 days that this happened?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. But I don't know. Like I don't know how like fast you want to go through this or not. Just it just seems like there. I mean, it gets to it like later on, but there it seemed like it was redundant. I guess, but there had to be four of these characters because then it does the same thing again. Like she starts explaining her thing and hoping to try to give herself some humanity and character so Andrew and Eric can make this choice. And the same thing happens. She says she's a mother, right? She said something about being a mother, and she's had visions of her kid dying, or she's holding her kid, because this was what was confusing to me too, because she said she has visions of seeing her kid die, because like if they don't make the choice to sacrifice one of themselves, this plague is going to hit the children. And she's had visions, and like all the visions have been right, every detail to what everybody was wearing, what kind of weapons everybody was going to have when they met. And she has these visions where she sees it over and over again of her son, holding her son in her arms as he dies from whatever plague or whatever kills the children. But yet, her vision wasn't well enough to see that she was going to get killed because Andrew and Eric weren't going to make a decision. So she ends up getting killed as well. But she was alive to have visions of her son dying. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I get you. In regards, yeah, why didn't she see that coming, or like how does that happen when the other happens? I don't know, because yeah, at some points they're able to, when the flood happened, they were able to remember that specific boulder in the area, and that exact scene for scene kind of what happened. But yeah, that she couldn't see herself getting killed. But yeah, that was part of the thing too, because when Andrew was just trying to debunk everything, he was like, you guys didn't even know like we're a gay couple. You didn't know who was at this cabin. You just guys kind of just showed up thinking it was just gonna be like a random home invasion or something. And he's trying to just make sense of it or debunk their logic or their theories.
Yeah. And then at some point, well, like I said, I went to get popcorn right when they were having the flashback with the daughter. So I don't know exactly what happened with that. Or I know that was before they have the flashback of when they're talking at the bar.
Yes.
So what happened with them adopting the girl? Like, was it any issues, or were they giving shit about it, or was it just?
Sorta, yes, because yeah, it didn't look like it was in a hospital, or it looked like it was at a hospital, but it wasn't not in the States. It looked like they went somewhere overseas to do the adoption, and they kind of had to play it off because a nurse comes up to them and it's like, oh, going by their last names, like Mr. So and so and Mrs. So and so, but it's the two, it's the husbands, but they kind of
Uh-huh.
play it off. They don't say they're a married gay couple. It's like, oh, yes, I'm so and so the husband. My wife couldn't be here, but her brother's here on her behalf. So
Yeah.
they downplayed their relationship, but I guess everything worked out because obviously they were able to adopt the girl and they're so happy with her. But that's pretty much the that flashback. But
And I don't know, just like for time purposes, like she gets killed, and they're still not convinced. They're still not ready to sacrifice one of themselves. And then the news goes on, and they turn the TV on, and all these children, like right on cue, are getting sick and dying in hospitals from some, like, I don't know, like some COVID type disease or some type of disease that all these kids are getting. So they start dying, and it's on the news, and that just leaves Sabrina and Leonard Batista, the left.
yes,
And then mm, during the breakfast time, the girl Wen was able to sneak a knife to Eric, so he's able to kind of cut himself free. And there's another scuffle, right? And oh wait, we're
yes,
skipping the flashback because I guess this is important. Andrew has that flashback where he's in a bar talking with Eric, and I guess they're talking to each other about what they faults that, like, Eric is talking to Andrew about some of Andrew's faults, and Andrew's talking to Eric about some of his faults. And Eric is like, Andrew, you have an anger issue. Like, you have anger issues, not in an abusive way, but like you have a temper on you. Like you have a temper. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not like I think you're gonna hurt me or anything, but you have a temper on you. And Andrew says something to Eric. I forget what he says. His issues with Eric. I guess he's too
uptight.
reserved. Yeah, uptight and reserved or whatever. And just they're in a bar, and then somebody just off view says, "Can you quiet down? You're being too loud," or something like that. And Andrew's like, just right after Eric says you have a temper on him, it's like, "Excuse me, we're being too loud," or whatever. And
Because yeah, they're it was kind of hinting that they, I guess, are moving up to the next part of the relationship where they're kind of, I don't know, they might have said "I love you" to each other, and they're pretty much hinting towards, I guess, making that commitment to wanting to adopt a child. And I think one of them hints like, "Oh, I can't believe we're doing this!" Like happy and excited that they're, I guess, yeah, gonna go through with it. At which point, yeah, this person kind of buds in on their conversation.
then that Andrew flips him off or does something, right?
Yeah, it's like,
As the
oh,
guy kind of like, he stands up to the guy or says something kind of all tough to the guy, and the guy kind of just walks away.
yeah, it's like, oh, we're being loud in a bar. It's like, just like go back to your friends or something like that. It just kind of just brushes them off.
And the guy walks away, and then that Eric is like, "See, that's what I'm telling you. You got a temper on you." And then all of a sudden, that guy comes back with the beer bottle and slams it on Andrew's head.
Yes.
And I guess we can talk about it. I don't know if we'll save it for later or not. Because this is relevant, because I guess because Andrew comes to the conclusion that the person that attacked him in the bar was Redmond, but that his name wasn't Redmond, it was something else. And he did it, Redmond or the guy in the bar did it because they were homophobic. Did you pick up on that? Like, was that what your reading on that was? Or do you think the guy hit him because he was just being an asshole and he was drunk? The guy was the one that broke the bottle on Andrew was drunk and an asshole. And like Andrew was kind of an asshole back to him. Do you think he did that because Andrew was an asshole and he was drunk? Like, or do you think he did it because he was homophobic and drunk?
He did it because he was homophobic and drunk.
How can you be certain of that? Like, I didn't pick up on that, and that's not like I'm trying to be like, I don't know. Like, Miranda said that was the same thing, but like when I watched it, I just felt like Andrew was just kind of being an asshole, and like he's already drunk and whatever.
Uh,
But I guess that fits with the theme of it, right?
yeah, it's just kind of jumping around, but yeah, it's kind of what Andrew's always been going on about, that they've always been targeted, I guess referring to homosexuals, gays, or whatnot. It's something that they've always had to endure, and despite being in the bar with other people, being loud, other people having conversations, the one gay couple that's talking about having a kid or their love for each other, but that's what got under this Redmond's skin, and it's like, oh, I don't want to hear about two guys loving each other and this and that, and it's like you keep that to yourself, but which obviously set off Andrew, and he didn't get forceful with him or anything, but he in a kind of subtle way told him to fuck off, at which Redmond wasn't too keen on that, and that's when, yeah, he busted his head open
I
with
don't know.
the bottle.
Why couldn't it have just been a disproportionate response instead of a homophobic response? Like, yeah, like it, I don't know. And I guess it fits with the themes. I don't think Shyamalan's gonna be too challenging. I guess Redmond was a homophobic, but that's the other thing too. So, and this comes out throughout a little bit later on, and then even in the end of the movie, where Andrew's like, he's the one that attacked me, and his name wasn't Redmond, it's something else, because I don't know, maybe they went to court or he got arrested. That guy got arrested, and he kind of knows whatever. And I know Redmond said he did get arrested. But Batista's like, no, we don't, because Andrew's like, check his wallet. His name's not going to be Redmond. If you check it, it's going to be something else. But whether he was homophobic or not, he still was willing to let himself die to potentially save the world. I guess that was his also spiel that he was changing, right?
Yeah. Because yeah,
Those are other.
that flashback, like I said, it was before they adopted the girl, and that was the girl. And now time was probably what, 6, 7, so that easily had to have been 7 to 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, if you're homophobic, I'm pretty sure you're pretty discriminatory in other things as well. And I guess I don't know. He could have some metanoia moment where he, yeah, changed completely. I don't know, but yeah. So this is whatever, because then it kind of creates this thing, like, because in my head as a viewer, maybe not other people, but in my head it was like, okay, is it going to be one of those things where Andrew's too like, I guess, up in his thing, like he feels like everybody, he's too hung up on that everybody's against him, that it's kind of clouding his thing, or is it that he was actually homophobic, you know?
Yeah, because that's what set the motions. Where later on, there's other flashbacks or whatnot, where Andrew, after that incident, he started, I guess, taking up
Yeah,
boxing lessons, and then which led him to buy a gun because he's not gonna be, obviously, gonna be a victim anymore, but he's gonna be able to defend himself in the future, just for I guess, yeah, defend him and his family. He's not gonna take it or whatnot.
and they didn't play too much into the gun being a penis substitute or a penis thing, masculinity thing. Because I don't know, isn't that what guns are? I guess
Usually,
I don't know. They could have done more with some of the stuff.
more penises.
But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, no more penises. Uh, no, I don't know. Like,
But yeah, because throughout the entire time, Andrews is constantly trying to debunk their theory because he calls out Batista because they all have watches, and he's saying that every time Batista turns the TV on, it's something that's pre-recorded at a designated time. That this is a very orchestrated plan that they only want us to see what they want to see, and some of these things are just coincidence. This plague that's going on, it's been going on for a while, and it's getting more widespread, sure, but it didn't just happen right now at a snap of your finger, or this person's death, or us saying no. It's been happening. The tsunami, it already happened. And then he says, like, Leonard slash Batista saying that they were talking on the message board, and it's like, oh well, there you go, you guys are talking online, and so it's just like it's easy for you guys to be gullible. And they were saying, oh, Batista, Leonard's character, he worked at a bar, and like, maybe what are the chances that Redmond went to that same bar, and was it Andrew's like, oh, she's a gullible young girl, so she'll believe anything you tell her. I forgot how he fit in the other character, Sabrina. I forgot how he did, but he tried to tie it up in a nice, pretty
yeah,
package on, oh, you guys just met up online and fit into this fear, or this the same delusion. And again, he fed it through, like, yeah, the homophobia. It's like, oh, this guy, you guys are just targeting us, and you're just either masking it or just kind of fell for this or whatever. But he just kept trying to find logical reasoning for what the hell's going on.
yeah. Like they didn't do anything with that. Like I thought there was going to be some weird twist at the end, that because Batista mentioned that he was the bartender, and I was like, oh fuck, Batista's going to be the bartender, and something else is going to connect to it, and then you're going to see Bruce Willis in the corner, and then you're going to see Mr. Glass, and then you're going to see the split guy at the same bar, and then you're going to see the Redman, and you're going to see all those guys in the bar. But yeah, I was figuring it's going to be some like thing. Well, not like that, but I figured it was going to be something where, yeah, like Andrew's stretching his thing, that yeah, they're all together, like even though like all this pestilence and all this shit's going on, the tsunamis and shit, he was still gonna connect it, and it's gonna be far-fetched, but it's gonna be closer to being truth than not. But
Mhm.
anyway, I don't know, it's like then this is kind of not weird, but like just kind of like, I don't know, everything just kind of gets like, it seemed like it was more tight at the beginning and towards the middle it gets kind of wonky because then there's like this, I don't know, the Sabrina, the nurse lady, I don't even remember, it just gets kind of sloppy, right? Like they kind of like this, they kind of fight and they don't fight, they break free because the guy's able to cut his ropes open, and they kind of fight but don't fight, and they kind of have like those Royal Rumble moments where half the wrestlers are laying down and only two wrestlers are actually doing something.
Yeah,
And
everyone
it's
else
like,
is
what the
kind of
hell?
catching their
How's
breath.
there ever? Yeah, yeah. And I was like, what is? Because it's like this. Okay, then I don't know. Wen goes outside. I don't know. Like it's just sloppy to me. I don't even remember what happens. But it seems like Andrew tries to escape, but it's going all super slow to try to escape and get the gun. And Wen is outside, and then they're kind of lightly fighting each other, but not fighting each other on the inside. And I don't know.
Yeah,
It just kind of got.
because keep in mind that the two parents they've been tied to the chair for over 24 hours, and Eric's has still has a concussion. Andrew's been wiggling at the knots to free himself. Eric had a
Wiggling at
knife.
his nuts,
What?
dude. Did you say he was wiggling at his nuts? In the movie were you watching? Grow up, man.
Knots.
Those two guys love each other, right? Just don't have to joke about it.
But so yes, he was able to kind of free himself. Eric apparently he had worked up this plan with the girl to start screaming and throwing like a tantrum. At which
Yeah.
point, Leonard is trying to calm him down, being the parent, just trying to be friends with her. It's like trying to get her to calm down. Eric frees himself by cutting his rope free, and his feet are still tied, but he's able to grab one of the weapons that they brought, and he's just basically making a big scene. And yeah, everyone's attention's focused to them. Where
Yeah, but just fast forward this shit. I don't know. It's just kind of dumb. I don't know.
yeah,
Eventually, what happens is he slowly gets to the car while Sabrina chases him, kind of slowly. He gets able to get his gun and is loading his gun, and she's stabbing him a little bit, not lightly stabbing him. It's weird because nobody can kill each other because then they would violate this thing. But everybody, I don't know. And he's slowly loading the gun. I guess it's supposed to be suspenseful, but he's just slowly while he's getting his like
he's getting
butt stabbed or something.
it was the side, like, it was like the Jesus stab
The Jesus stab on the side.
in the ribs.
That's a vagina stab.
So I don't know what vagina's on the ribs, but okay.
It is. I don't know. You gotta look it up. It's some, I don't know,
Did you
feminine
see that
thing.
show, brand new cherry flavor?
No.
Where
Why?
there's a particular scene that yeah, there's we'll get into that, but yeah, we're getting off
Uh,
topic.
but anyways, it's just weird. He's lightly getting stabbed, and he's slowly loading the gun. I guess he's liking it or kind of not liking it. It's just everything's going slow, and then he finally gets the gun loaded, and he shoots at Sabrina, but not Sabrina, even though she's stabbing him. And I don't know. He just, yeah, I guess he can't kill her. I guess I don't know.
Well, he's not a killer. That's like a warning shot.
Yeah, but if you're getting stabbed and potentially going to be murdered, it's not technically you're a killer. It's like you're self defense. Like you're defending your life, your self preservation. Like it's not. And then like if he's willing to let everybody die and like his family, and he's trying to save his family, he can't just shoot this woman that's literally stabbing him and not saying that she's going to do it. She's literally stabbing him.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was he it was a panic shot. He meant to kill her, but then once he realized he didn't kill her, he's like, you need to get
Oh,
away.
come on. You're defending everything, Shyamalan. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. This, I don't think it was, he meant, I don't know. Then why did they show the things where he was practicing his shooting? Like, why even show that flashback then if he's not going to shoot her,
He
be able to
wasn't
shoot her
practicing
from?
shooting. He was buying the gun. It was showing his montage of learning to defend himself physically with taking boxing lessons. Then he was at a gun store buying a gun. It wasn't him actually going
At the
to a shoot.
firing range?
He wasn't at a firing range. He was at a gun store.
All right, calm down. I saw the movie yesterday, all right? Not like you saw it 5 minutes ago. All right, yeah. All right, well, then he potentially shot a warning, or he accidentally tried to shoot her, but made it a warning shot instead.
Because I
Whatever.
mean, he walked in the house. He had a chance to kill Batista right then and there, shoot him in the back of the head or shoot him in the back, but he didn't.
It just seems disproportionate. I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but it doesn't to me right now at this moment because then she's technically shot and she's dying and they don't make the choice. Like Eric and Andrew still don't want to make the choice to sacrifice one of themselves, and Sabrina's already dying. So Batista's like, okay, and then he starts clubbing her in the head with whatever his weapon is. And then what was that third one? Oh, airplanes started falling from the sky and shit like that.
Yeah.
700 million airplanes just instantly fell down from the sky or whatever they said.
Yes. And
Yes, you're not going to correct me on me saying 700 million airplanes fell down, but yet when I said the guy's shooting at a firing range, he jumped all over my ass. And that's even more like a
nothing.
reasonable leap.
It's not about your ass.
Yeah. So yeah, 700 airplanes or something crashed within the whatever, all over the world. And then it's just weird because like, I guess it's okay to murder these other three people by the acolytes or whatever these four people are that don't come on horses, but there's a group of four of them. There's four of them, right?
Yes.
But whatever these devoted, whatever people are, that's okay for them to kill each other because they're part of this thing, but murder is bad and dying is bad and saving the world is good, and but yet like their lives don't matter. I don't know, it's just weird. Like some of the logic seems weird. So then that just leaves Batista, right?
Yes.
And then Eric starts having this like, yeah, I don't know, it just gets sloppy to me. Eric just starts having this thing about,
He starts biting into their logic.
yeah, and then he tells Andrew that he saw a vision when they did definitely show a bright light, they put emphasis on it. When Redmond was gonna kill himself or get killed, he said he saw a person in the mirror, right?
Yes.
And Andrew's like, no, your concussion, it's a concussion. You didn't see it, you're whatever. And Eric is just, oh wait, am I jumping?
No, you're
Or
fine.
what happened? Because then what happens with Bautista? Because they like after they kill Sabrina, then what happens?
They basically want to escape, but they're kind of going back and forth. And Andrew, I think, is
Oh, there's a chase, and but they chase Bautista into the bathroom, right?
yeah, they lock him in there because like you guys obviously came here on some vehicle and they slashed the tires to their car, so like we're just gonna find your vehicle and we're gonna drive out of here. And instead of choosing to kill Batista, they lock him in the bathroom. And as soon as they, I guess, are gonna go out, they hear the window break and like, oh no, he's escaping, and like he could be in the woods waiting for us. He's gonna get us. So the only way to confirm he escaped is to open the bathroom door. At which point he's waiting for them, and being the size that he is, he easily overpowers them and takes the gun away from them.
Well, there's a window because I don't know. I don't know. There's a window in the restroom that you see throughout the movie where it's like circular and light is like this bright light is shining through it. And Bautista opens that window and it's like you as a viewer are like he couldn't fit through that fucking
Yeah.
window. Although that would have been so badass if he did, if he was on the outside and he did manage to squeeze through that window. And yeah, like the window's open. So I guess that's symbolically because in the beginning they were catching grasshoppers in a jar, and they're like the grasshoppers in the jar themselves in this cabin. And that window being open, I don't know if that's supposed to be like the lid coming off,
He broke the window.
or yeah, like he broke out because they're supposed to be the grasshoppers.
The police.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck my mind is, dude.
Little police hats and handcuffs.
The grasshoppers, and then I don't know. Edit this shit out already, all right?
So is that the twist of the movie? Are they the ones pulling the string?
Yeah, yeah. That's a post-credit scene that you didn't see. You stick around to see.
The grass officers.
Hey, why don't you shut up?
That, yeah, that's the scene seems so cheesy because the only other scene was like, okay, he escaped out the window, but then there's the bathtub with the shower curtain fully closed. It's like, is he hiding behind the shower curtain? So it takes, so he shoots at it once and then like he's slowly trying to open it, which Batista just busts out like his WWE days.
Yeah, he spears him or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay, because yeah, that's what happens because Bautista gets the gun back.
yeah.
But yeah, like his aim is not to kill them, but
He doesn't want them to leave.
yeah. So that's what I'm trying to remember. Did that Eric start talking about his vision before that, or was it once Bautista got the gun? Because then Bautista's like, okay, then I must kill myself, or I must go outside, and or whatever, whatever.
It was. I don't remember for the most part. I don't remember the sequence, but yeah, it was some point in there where yeah, Batista's like, oh, let's go outside for this part, and
Yeah,
go ahead.
and then he just tells him he's gonna like, even though he's the big dude and he has the gun, he's gonna kill himself. He's not trying to kill them.
Yes, and he at this point he puts the gun away or whatever, and like everyone's just kind of came to agreement that even though he's sat down and he's not posing as a threat, he pulls out a knife from his boot, and I guess he didn't really ask them, but he's pretty much knows what their answer is going to be. Is going to be no, so he's getting ready to kill himself, and he tells the two parents, it's like even though after I'm about to kill myself, you still have a brief moment to make the decision yourself to I guess kill one another, and you'll still spare the world or what's left of it. And the parents tell the little girl, go to the tree house, put your music on, and don't come out until we come get you. So it's just the adults talking,
And
and
Bautista.
yes, but it's pretty much at that point where yes, and I think it was I kind of like how they showed it but didn't show it, where he basically slits his own throat, and they don't show the motion, but then you just I guess kind of see the blood starting to pull from his throat onto his shirt.
You, the guy who has 10,000 copies of Evil Dead, appreciated the fact that they didn't show him slit his throat.
Yeah, wasn't that type of movie.
None of Shyamalan's movies. He's like the king of blue balling everybody. Like he doesn't show anything in any of his movies. So it's like I don't know. But yeah, another thing. Like that's a weak rated R movie. And then yeah, so I guess the fourth thing that Batista said was God was gonna burn the world with his fingers or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, that'd be like darkness, and yeah, at which point there's a ominous thunderclap, and then in the distance you see a plane plummeting to the earth, I guess, and somewhere close to them. But yeah, giant lightning strike starts striking around them, and not just around them, but I guess around the world.
Yeah, and then that's when I think maybe that's when Eric starts telling Andrew that hey, like he's buying into it. Like I did, like I saw when Redmond was gonna, I saw a light, and everybody in the audience saw the light, kind of if you're looking at it. But then he said he saw a person, a cloaked person, or something like that, in the mirror behind Redmond, and he started having other visions, and he started buying into this shit, right?
Yeah.
And that he's ready to die for his daughter or whatever, and for him to go ahead and make the sacrifice and kill for Andrew to kill Eric, right?
Yes. And Andrew's like, I believe you, but I don't want to do it. Let's just go away and we'll just live. And Eric's like, well, what kind of world is that going to be for our daughter? It's like the world's going to be in ruins. It's no place for her. And Andrew's like, well, just kill me. But Eric's like, no, it's like I already can see a future with you and our daughter, our successful daughter, and you taking care of her being her own person. It's like he's already made peace, and I guess sees a happy future for the two of them.
Yes, and Bart Simpson's the judge, or what is Bart Simpson becomes a Supreme Court judge or whatever, and
Yeah.
finally gets to see the Itchy and Scratchy movie.
Yes.
But yeah, and this is okay. We can finish, and then I guess we can just talk about the movie like afterwards. But then he tells him about the vision, and yeah, and whatever he sees it, and then he's able to convince Andrew to
Yes.
do it at that moment. So Andrew just again off screen, which you probably were delighted to not see, were like, "Wow, I'm glad I didn't get to see Eric get killed by Andrew. Might as well just keep my eyes closed for the whole movie, and it might make it better that way." But he kills Andrew off screen, right?
Yes.
I mean, he kills Eric off screen, and that's it. That's the movie, right?
Mostly.
He goes into the treehouse, and he saves Win, or he tells Win that it's over. She asks him, "Is it over?" And the house is burning down because of the stuff that was the planes that had crashed or whatever. I don't know. The house burns down,
Yes.
and then they
Yeah.
go into the diner.
Yeah. At that point, they walk a little bit. They find the a truck that they abandoned, I guess, to get to the cabin. They go to said diner, and they go, oh, there's other people here. Let's see what's going on. And they have the news on, and that's where they start seeing that everything's, I guess, kind of turning around. People are gonna get drowned by the tsunami or whatever, but the tsunami miraculously stopped, and some remaining planes that were in the sky were able to successfully land. They didn't really talk about the plague or the pandemic, but like it seems like everything stopped, or it's turning for the better. And they, I guess, go back to the truck, and there's a bunch of backpacks in there, and it turns out it's the four backpacks. Leonard's is in there, and it's like, I guess, a certificate for being a coach or something like that, and it's you can see it's like signed by like all his students, and
Mhm.
it shows Sabrina's bag, and it shows her lanyard that she's a certified nurse, a registered nurse, what have you, and um, what's her face? Adrian. It shows
Adrian.
her bag, and he opens it up, and there's a picture of her holding her son on her back, which
Yeah,
Andrew said he never believed her for having a son. That it's just she's
yeah.
lying.
I did. I didn't believe it either because I even told Miranda like it contradicts. Like I just was hung up on like well, she was having these visions of her holding her son, but yeah, how can she have those visions if she's gonna get killed in this moment? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So I thought it was like a contradiction that was gonna somebody was gonna say, hey, whatever. But then yeah, she did. It turns out she did have a kid.
yeah. And last but not least, at the sun visor, rubber band to it is red. I forgot what his real name was, but it's basically his employee ID showing that he worked for said gas company.
Yeah, like some like Irish name, O'Brien or not O'Brien, but something O'Connor or O'Malley or something like that. And then yeah, they go to the diner and everybody's happy because everything seems to instantly be better.
Not more worse.
Yeah, so it's just better, and everybody's like, and then earlier in the movie, they cut to a flashback of them, and it's in the trailer, them singing that song "Boogie Shoes" or "I'm gonna boogie woogie in my boogie woogie shoes" or
Boot scoot
I
boogie.
don't know. Yeah, I know it's one of those songs you like to dance to, so you can
You can dance if
go
you
ahead and
want
give us
to.
the name. Yeah. So anyway, coincidentally, that song's on in the Leonard's truck or whoever's truck it is, and it's just real. It's like a funny, goofy song that they would sing to as a family, and then it's just weird as it comes on the radio because it was just not the right moment. So Leonard, I mean not Leonard, fucking Andrew shuts the radio off. And about a second later, when the daughter turns the radio on, let the song play again, and she lets it play for a few seconds, and she notices Andrew's not like he looks all morose and all down and shit. So she shuts it off, and they're just kind of there for a few seconds in silence. And then Andrew turns the music back on, the Boogie Woogie song, and they look at each other. And the movie ends, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Artistic. Did you cry at that ending when he turned the radio back on? No, I bet you did.
I didn't.
Yeah, you probably did. So after you cried, what did you think?
I didn't cry.
Oh, no, I know you did.
That's what you wanted to believe, but didn't
No,
happen.
your favorite director made a movie and ended it with your favorite song.
With
I'm pretty
grasshoppers
sure.
or grasshoppers.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the movie, and that was other more recent movies are kind of iffy or kind of. But then again, yeah, this was an adaptation from a book that he didn't originally write.
Yeah, overall, I mostly liked the movie. I thought it was all right. Like, I think it was mostly glad that it didn't suck as bad as some of his other movies, like Old and Glass, like his most recent movies. Like some of his more recent movies, like Old and Glass and The Visit, I didn't care for too much. Although I thought Split was all right. But yeah, he always has a tendency to maybe fumble the ball here and there on some of his movies. But overall, I was okay with it.
Same, I liked it. I thought it was pretty well done, and yeah, it's kind of circling back to this Batista again, just for him being a pretty, I say, a good actor. Just the way he kind of carried the movie.
Yeah, I guess like some other gripes, I'll leave it as like I would overall think it's a decent movie. I mean, not like a plus or whatever, but like because it seems like I'm complaining about it more than anything. But I think it was all right. Just some of the things like I have with Shyamalan, and it's funny because like I always say that to like a lot of people when I talk to him about movies or when he comes up, is like he's gonna Shyamalan it. Like Shyamalan has this fixation of always explaining things, and like I hate it when like they do that, like let the audience think about certain things before you just explain stuff, or like, and like it's like he has this compulsion that he feels like, oh, I'm doing something smart, I have to say it, and I have to let people know that I'm doing something smart. And it's like, okay, there's four people, it's an apocalyptic theme, oh, they're like the four horsemen, and then Eric is like, they're kind of like the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And then like he tells you like whether you pick that up or not, like just leave it be. Like Sabrina represents caring. She's whatever. She was a nurse. She represents caring and healing. Adrian is a mother. She's nurturing. She's the world needs nurturing. She's nurturing. Batista's guidance. He's a teacher. He's guidance. He guides the youth and all this. I forget what he said. Do you remember what he said about Redmond?
He was something about like not vengeance, but wrath. Something.
Malice?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what Miranda said. I didn't remember that. But anyway, then it's like, why are you saying this? Just let it, like, let people, like, figure, like perceive it how they want to perceive it. But then, like, they say that. And then the other thing, too, is just like, I didn't care about, like, I get they were stuck with what had the before of them because the four horsemen or whatever, but I didn't care for the Adrian character. I didn't really care for the Sabrina character. I didn't care too much for the Redmond character either. It's like I didn't really care for these characters. And at the same time, they should have, like, if he wasn't going to show anybody get murdered, really, he should have done the opposite and focused on Eric getting murdered because that's what the whole movie is about. Like, it's about the sacrifice of it. So it would have been more impactful if, yeah, they off screen, everybody gets killed or off, like not in view. But Eric's is this slow one because that's what the whole movie is based on, this decision that they waited to the very end. And it's like, you go this whole movie and then just in a few seconds, boom, okay, I'll sacrifice Eric, boom, and that's it. Like the whole movie was building up to that and whether this was going to happen or not. And it kind of happens real quick off screen, like what, to spare the audience their feelings so they wouldn't be too sad. Like he should have made it more impactful and he should have done something more, like, I don't know, like it just seemed like, so I don't know, that was kind of weird. And I don't know, I was just trying to think of like other stuff, like other themes that were going on in this.
Because they said something about color. They mentioned color. I was trying to like keep that in mind for I forgot who said it, but they kind of mentioned color because Batista was wearing white. Adrian was wearing black. Redmond was in red, and Sabrina was wearing, I think, green. So I'm not sure if that played into it as well or not.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. But like, I don't know, when I try to watch movies, I always tend to make more of them than what they are, or sometimes, I don't know. But I was thinking, okay, and I'm not gonna lie, like when we got home, we looked into like the YouTube and we looked at. I want to mostly know what did Shyamalan change or how true to the source material was Shyamalan's thing.
Mhm.
So I know supposedly what the difference is, like a little bit at least. But because I was wondering, okay, was it really a gay couple, like, or how much did Shyamalan change this thing to, like? And I guess it was. I guess it was a gay couple in the book, and it was an Asian daughter or Korean or whatever. It's kind of like Modern Family, where it's the two gay guys and like the Korean girl, and one of them is, yeah, like more dominant than the other one. But anyway, it's like, okay, so if I'm gonna make something out of nothing, they represent progress or just change, maybe changing times and progress. And like the Andrew is kind of like conveying like society's, like the majority of society's thing against it, or just kind of like the discriminatory thing of it. And like I was, okay, so let me try to make something of these characters. Maybe Sabrina, since she was African American, she can represent like, I don't know, just like the black people struggle for just in the world. And then, okay, maybe Adrian, who was a younger girl, cook, whatever. I don't know. They didn't really build their characters that much, which is kind of like, I know it sounds contradictory because I've complained about when they were talking about their characters, they were trying to build their characters, it was boring and seemed like it kind of not necessary, but at the same time, I didn't really care about these characters, so I don't know how they could have developed them better or more organically. But I was like, okay, maybe Adrian, the cook lady, represents like the Me Too movement, or maybe she just represents like the younger generation of women or whatever, Me Too, whatever. And then I don't know what Redmond is. Maybe like I couldn't think of something for him. Maybe he's just the first level of discrimination they got to get through and changing. And like Batista, him being this big burly guy who looks good in a white dress shirt. Maybe he's just the overall like like the burden of the toxic masculinity that they just have to get over and like they have to conquer, like they have to this stuff has to die, like for society to be born again or to progress, I guess, to be more accepting and tolerant of each other. But I don't know, like I'm just fishing for stuff. Like I try to make more because it's like I figure like there might be some significance to these characters. I'm trying to do something with it in my head. But I
Yeah,
don't know if you picked up on any of that.
they kind of mentioned that a little bit because I think when Batista was trying to talk to the little girl, she was talking about a show, a cartoon she watches. It's like, oh, I never heard of it. I'll have to watch it on my free time. And I'm assuming that's the cartoon that they put on for her when they were tied up inside the house. And when Eric wakes up, that's when they kind of focus on it, and he's asking to turn it down because I guess his head's throbbing from the concussion. And Batista's talking to the little girl. It's like, oh, it's like this is a good show. I like it. It talks about acceptance and tolerance or something like that, which sets Andrew off. It's like how can you talk about something like that when you have us tied up here?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what he says,
I don't,
tolerance and progress. That might have been the two that he brought up or something like that. But for sure, tolerance is one of them.
yeah, maybe if I
Acceptance.
had,
Acceptance and
yeah,
tolerance.
I don't know. Like maybe if I was more motivated, I could create like stupid theories if I had more time and more cared more about it. Like yeah, maybe everything represented something because obviously that's what they were trying to get at the end, like with the song at the end that Andrew wasn't gonna like he was gonna like he learned from this experience. He advanced from this experience too because he was able to turn the music back on and realize okay I can't just be this paranoid whatever hate society or be scared of society because I gotta raise my daughter or whatever now I can't just be this like I have to evolve too. Like I can't just be like this always scared of the world type thing. And it's okay for her to know that it's okay to have fun and well whatnot. And that too, like I wish they wouldn't have showed the flashback like of Lynn being successful and them being happy. Like wouldn't it have been better? Like wouldn't it have been more crazier if she would have grown up to become like some prostitute or crack whore or some type of like I don't know, serial killer or some type of thing? Or like, oh
Oh,
shit. That would have been the twist. She grew up to be Jigsaw's assistant lady that's in all the other movies.
or work on something to destroy the planet.
Yeah. And then like I said, did you notice the like this cloak guy? Did you notice that in the movie?
I don't think so. I didn't see any reference to the cloak guy.
Well, that's who they talked about in like their visions, like this whatever. And then it's on like when you can check like YouTube. Like I said, like I went to see like what the difference is between the thing.
Mhm.
And I think it was one of the videos they show like like as it's paused. I don't know how they get access to it, but you see this cloak guy in the vision when the light shines.
Mhm.
There's like this cloak guy. I guess it's like half a second, like how Tyler Durden spliced in the penises in the kids' cartoons.
Yeah.
Like you see a cloaked guy, and they mentioned the cloak guy like this is whatever, and like I was like, okay, is that supposed to be God or whatever? But then I don't know. Like, if you look it up on YouTube, it's like some Assassin's Creed looking guy in this cloak or whatever, and it's like what?
Gandalf.
I don't know, but like. It's just weird, I was like, I didn't notice that. I guess it must have been super like split second that they did that.
Yeah.
And then another thought that I had, which is kind of weird, and I don't know, might make me sound like a jerk, but I was wondering whether Eric was in the movie questioning his homosexuality or his questioning his, I guess, his devotion to that, or I don't know if devotion would be the right word, or his commitment to it, because in my head it was like, okay, like as I know, like he kind of had. Like it seemed like I can't remember. Like you said, whose parents was it that you said was the ones that visited?
Andrew.
Andrew's parents. Okay, so it seemed like maybe he had doubts in my head. Like I was like, it's gonna be something, or maybe that's why he's like come to this realization with like the head wound. It created some realization in him that it's not like he's like his this thing is not something that he's completely committed to. I forget, it was some famous philosopher. I think Simon Rusky or something. I forget what his name was. I think he was this guy that would pray every day, like on, I think he was like Muslim. He would pray on the mats or whatever every day. And one day when he was praying, like he went down too fast and he busted his nose. And that instant, incident made him question his faith, and like he was just like, why do I do this every day, and why is this and that, and like I shouldn't, like why am I whatever, and it just was this moment. And I think he became an atheist after that. But anyway, it's just one of those things where I was like, what if? And I'm like, because the way he was angled, sometimes the light would be it was kind of like shining on his head, or he had like that thing around, like that I guess that bathroom mirror where Batista would break out of, or didn't break out of, was kind of like shining on his head for a while. And I was like, what if he's coming to this realization? I just expected something weird to happen. I don't know if I was expecting some weird twist or something to happen, not like crazy, but I was like, what if he's just questioning it, or what if he's like maybe not as committed to it? I don't know. I just had these weird thoughts.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I was hoping, I guess, something more interesting.
Oh, those
And then you want to,
were weird thoughts. But what? Go ahead.
according to the internet, the ending that happened in the book, do you want to know what it was?
Sure.
So spoiler for the book is when then the scuffle, I guess, kind of like the Pearl, the John Steinbeck book, Wynn ends up accidentally getting shot and dies in like one of the scuffles, and then they tell them it still doesn't count, that Eric or Andrew still have to die to save the world.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and they decide not to do it, and I think the book just ends. I forget already. I think the book just kind of ends more ambiguous.
Mhm.
But that's the thing too. Like Shyamalan struggles with too. Like he struggles with being too tough. Like he's a big wimp. Like sometimes
Oh,
like he explains too much. Like I said, like and like he has like trouble with sometimes with endings. Like how they joke with Stephen King,
mhm.
because like man, the ending of Old, like I guess I shouldn't, I'm not trying to spoil Old, but like I didn't like how it ended. I mean, I didn't like a lot of things with the movie. Like it was interesting for the beginning, but then the ending kind of got all the same thing, and then just the ending, like after, I don't know, I don't want to give away the ending, but I had issues with that. Like, why did they do that? Why did they explain that? Or why did they show this? And then, like, Unbreakable, when Unbreakable ended, I feel more okay giving that away because that was even longer ago. It was like Mr. Glass was arrested 5 minutes after Bruce Willis left the his room. He called the police, and police came in and arrested Mr. Glass. Like, why not just leave it ambiguous? You know what I mean? Like, once Bruce Willis finds out Samuel Jackson's identity,
Mhm.
and he just does stuff like that where he explains too much. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I get you. Yeah, the book definitely sounds different than how the movie played out, but yeah, I think that ending wouldn't have gone over too well.
That's what I think Shyamalan said too, and it's like, why do you feel you need to make something that goes over well with people? Like, I don't know.
Well, in the end, it boils down to money, and they're gonna have the test screenings, and they're gonna show a test screening of the little girl getting killed, and it's like immediately they're gonna like, yeah, I mean, that's no good, and they have to do a reshoot, and it's gonna cost more money and all that, and it's just like,
Yeah, but like Shyamalan, I don't know. I imagine him as being this real frugal person that his main goal is to spend as little money and make as much money as possible. Because this is another, like, I mean, I don't mind indie movies and like one location or isolated location movies where it's like phone booth, or where it's like real,
yeah,
or like how Saw was mostly in the Thing and stuff, and other movies that do that, Castaway or whatever. Just like, but like, there's no hardcore computer graphics, maybe just for a few scenes, but that could be really cheaply done probably nowadays. And it's like, I don't know, like he could make bigger movies, but I guess he's kind of like, I don't know, like almost not as bad as Kevin Smith, who kind of hasn't really evolved from much from his lower days. Because it's just kind of weird. Like I think of John Favreau, who started off the same time, like roughly around the same time as Kevin Smith, make Swingers, and then he made Made, and then he goes on to fucking make Iron Man and all these Marvel movies and the
Mandalorian.
Lion King movies, the Jungle Book movies. And it's like, man, that guy started off making fucking Swingers and like super just talky indie movie. And he kind of like, maybe in a different way, a commercial way, but like, I mean, I imagine he had to learn how to do a bunch of fancy shit on computers and shit, but like, he kind of advanced in some ways at least, or he made it bigger, he elevated it in some way,
Evolved.
scope. Yeah, well, I don't necessarily know if evolved, but I guess elevator, he's capable, he made himself more capable of doing other stuff, because he ended up doing like chef and he did like that, but like he's capable now of doing, he got more tools to do, like whether he does indie things or not indie things or whatever, like he elevated himself. Like I don't know if Shyamalan's like he's elevated himself too much, or like it's just like it seems like he just wants to make money. And like, yeah, like their story, like he's interested in doing interesting stories, but I don't think, yeah, like he wants to rock the boat too much. And that's something I wish he kind of didn't have too much. I don't know what movie broke him. I don't know. Probably one of these movies broke him. Last Airbender or Happening or something where he felt, oh, screw that. I'm not going to take any chances anymore.
Yeah.
Because Shyamalan does get shit on a lot. And I don't know whether, I don't think it's deserved as the way it is, but I don't know. I can see why.
So you're
And
gonna be Leonard for Halloween?
shit, yeah, I'm Leonard every day. I was just gonna ask you, did you ever see that movie, The Box?
I don't think so.
I never saw it either. I remember when it came out because it was the guy that did Donnie Darko.
Mm.
Let me see. Let me look. Richard Kelly was his name, and Cameron Diaz was in it. And like I remember, I never saw it. I mean, it was like a flop movie, but it kind of reminds me similar premise. Kind of a small wooden box arrives on the doorsteps of a married couple who know that opening it will grant them $1 million and kill someone they don't know. So that's that movie, and it's like that guy hasn't made many movies. I think he's made like 2 or 3 movies.
Mhm.
But I just remember that movie, kind of like one of those things, like, oh, would you do this if somebody you didn't know died? Would you be willing to accept that? Like, it kind of reminds me of that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I should see that.
Make it happen.
And again, like I do like the way this movie, and I'll shut up because yeah, I know it's kind of long, but I like that this movie started off like again, it started off good and it started off like pretty fast. Like it reminded me. I mean, it's not anywhere near as good as the play Night Mother. I probably told you, asked you, or talked to you about that a couple of times. I don't know if I have or not. But in Miss Hogan's English 4 class, we read that play Night Mother,
Mhm.
and we saw the movie, and it's just intense as fuck, and it's just dialogue. Like it's just dialogue. Like it's just a movie that it stars Sissy Spacek, and like in the play and the movie, like literally in the movie, kind of early on in the beginning of the movie, it's just about it just takes place in the house, and it's between the mother, an older mother, and her daughter, a grown daughter. Sissy Spacek is the daughter, and they just have these routines that they do: make breakfast, make food, put things there, wash this and that, do the laundry. And one morning, Sissy Spacek just tells the mom, "Oh, and today I'm gonna kill myself." And it's like, what the fuck? And then the whole movie and the whole play is just that, like her telling the mom and just having a matter of fact conversation with the mom of why she's gonna do it, and it's nothing wrong. It's just that she feels like it's like she just needs to do it, and the mom trying to convince her not to do it, and her Sissy Spacek telling her why she's still gonna do it. But it's not like it's just weird. Like it's just so simple, but it's fucking intense. Like it's just them talking to each other, and it's like I won't give it away what happens if she does it or not. But it's just like that's all it is. It's like them having this talking about their lives and this and that and why she's gonna do it, and the mom trying to convince her not to do it, and just different things. And it just takes place in the house, and it's just like man, that's intense. And like that kept me like I don't know. You should look into that. Rent that movie, Night Mother.
Night Mother.
Yeah, Sissy Spacek.
Not looking.
It's like Good Night Mother. But yeah, so look into that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into it. See if I can track it down. But I'd say this is a good stopping point for the movie.
Yeah, for now.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it. I think it would be a crowd pleaser for most people who would see it, or be everybody who sees it. Most people who see it would be okay with having seen it.
Yeah, I think I saw a headline. Just kind of wondering if this movie, I guess, is gonna, if wondering if it'll dethrone the Avatar. I guess Avatar's still up there.
I can see a lot of people not liking this movie though too, like being I don't know. It didn't seem too preachy to me, but I can see people seeing it as being preachy. I don't know. Do you think it was too preachy on the tolerance, acceptance? I don't know.
I don't think it was, but I mean, people are always gonna find something to dissect or fit into their narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Knock at the Cabin. I would also recommend it. I think it was a pretty entertaining movie, and yeah, it just starts right off the bat.
It kind of wavers midway. I guess shut up. It's all right.
Next time, let's talk about uh, Batista and his different roles.
I know.
But yeah, that's our movie corner of Knock at the Cabin. I was here joined with Augie the Froggy.
Hey,
Obviously 2003. Sure, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And don't forget to settle down.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this odds and ends gaming video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting, sharing with your friends, and subscribing if you haven't already. And as always, don't forget to settle down.
Cool. recording right now, and again, this will just get edited, so no big deal.
Edit you.
You wish.
Shit. Edit you with my fist. Is that a Marilyn Manson song? I am the VHS. Record you with my fist. I hate, therefore I am. Goddamn your righteous hand. Yep.
I'll just use that randomly, that sound bit randomly in videos
Yeah,
later.
even better. Shit. Let me go viral.
It'll be the post-credit score.